All right, we are here with Prison Break's one and only founder, Greg. It's so nice to have you with us.
Well, thank you.
We are very excited to talk about the brand. It's a super unique brand. There's a lot for you to walk us through. So, I'm gonna dive right in here. Let's get started. At the beginning makes sense. If you can just, tell us about your story and what led to this endeavor. What led to starting Prison Break Brewery?
Yeah, no problem. It actually started my partner Jack and I. We were in Florence, Colorado, in federal prison together, and he was starting. He wanted to start a publishing business for inmates, and then we started talking about it, and we had a little, bull sessions, and we actually had access to a big room with computers and dry erase boards, and it started morphing. And there was a guy that was supposed to be one of our partners, and he owned a brewery in Bozeman, Montana. And he started telling all of us how he had did a private labeling for a chain of 300 country markets around the mountain regions there, and so he approached the guy and said, "Look, I can make you your own beer, label it, name it, and stuff, and you can sell your own product and make more money." Well, as soon as he said that, something clicked onto me, and I said, "Well, God, we could start a prison themed brewery." I go, "We could call it Prison Break Brewery." And I go, the first name, the first beer we could do, we could go Shanked and have a picture. And everything happened right then. It's actually has come to fruition kind of exactly like we planned it. And, it's kind of amazing, although it's not that easy. I've been out for 6 years and over 6 years now, and we just started selling, as you know, in the New York area. And that's kind of the birth of it. Started in prison, and then it's just started out over with nothing, and so I just started working, building my credit, spending money on like trademarks and stuff like that, and we tried publishing and some other stuff first, and lost all that money, and found some investors, family and friends, and we just keep chugging along, and now things are actually taking off. So that's about how it had happened.
That's
That's
exciting. Yeah, it's
incredible.
exciting. It's taking off now. And before we get into the details of all the work that the brewery and this project are doing, I want to know, why beer? So when it came to starting this project, I know you're walking us through the origins here a little bit, but like, what what drew you to craft beer? What did you think was special about that? Why craft beer over anything else?
Well, I was in prison for a lot of the craft beer, just, growth explosion. I was drinking, this was back in the day, like Elysian, and then we have a place in California, Stone Brewing and stuff,
Yeah.
and Firestone Walker. So, and as soon as that guy said that to me, and he was in it, I was actually going to go run his brewery, and I always enjoyed ordering new craft beers when I would go out. This is back a long time ago. We're talking in the '90s and that, and so as soon as he said that, I go, "Oh, this is it. This is me." Because everybody had kind of like their own little projects. My partner Jack writes music, writes books, and this is my project. Our partner Jim, he's more of the nonprofit. That's kind of an offshoot of Prison Break Brewery, but now he's right in on Prison Break Brewery. But I've always liked to explore, try different beers. Not a real like a stout guy, peanut butter beers and that. You sound like you're way more hardcore drinking than I am. When I read your
That's
blog,
fair.
I'm going, "Oh, she gets around," but I'm probably a little more conservative. But look, I was in the drug business for years, and so I drank. All I did was run around the country, moving drugs from one part of the country or from Mexico to the other. So all I did was half of my life was spent in bars. So I've always drank a lot of beers. Like I said, there wasn't the assortment, the variety that there is now, and so I haven't really explored them as much. But like I've been a beer drinker and different kinds of beers all my adult life. So it just seemed a good fit for me. We were just coming up with ideas, and as soon as that one just seemed to click inside me, I go, "Wow, this is so me." So I pursued it.
Cool. I love that evolution for you that craft beer was still kind of on the rise. And then now that you're starting your own brand and, when you guys came to New York, I loved seeing the huge launch in Times Square and then launching with Taproom where you could actually buy beer online, which is already like a huge phenomena for like this generation. So, I mean, how cool that you get to be a part of this, evolution of craft beer. That's awesome.
Well, that's what I like about Taproom is this is the next frontier is online sales. It's in its nascent stages. Let's face it. I mean, there's a lot of growth room. Business to business, basically, it's a zero sum game. If I go in and start selling my beer in a place, and somebody's going to quit drinking another brand, the market's pretty much mature. It's growing slowly, but it's fairly mature. The online thing, that's a whole nother thing. Actually, we're waiting right now because you guys have to build us a website. It's our website, but it's integrated through your system. We can't sell in the 33 states yet, and we're kind of more of a national. We want to be. Our brand we've always planned on it being a national brand. So we're looking forward to that. And you guys, I like it. This is kind of you guys are in the infant stages, and we want to get with that. A lot of the other breweries and that really don't. They'll say, yeah, I'll sell you. You can sell my beer, but we're going to get behind it. We're gonna get behind it. We have plans about how to market ourselves. We've had them since the beginning, since prison, and it's going to happen. But this online thing allows us because it takes a long time to expand to different states physically. Whereas now with this platform, I'm in most of the country. So
Exactly.
at least if people say us and go, hey, that's a cool idea. Well, heck, I can buy a 6-pack. Let me go ahead and support them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, on that reach, really, on that, sort of potential to grow nationally and everything, what do you think is, we know you had an interest in craft beer to get started in this, but do you think that there's also like craft beer is sort of uniquely positioned as a good tool to bring people together, to get a message out? Like, do you think it's sort of a unique thing there in its like power to reach people?
Yes, and for one reason, and like I went to the beer conference not this year, but last year in Denver. Everybody is in the craft beer business. They're not like they don't try to they don't hate on each other for the most part. Everybody's very supportive, and it's very unique in ways. It's not as dog eat dog as a lot of other businesses. Well, look at tap rooms. I'll carry other tap rooms products. It's a supportive thing, and we've talked to so many. Like I talked to a lot of brewers, and they said, "Look, when you get your apprenticeship program up, we would be more than happy to take someone, a man or woman who's getting out of prison, train them either in brewing. It's a long process to get to be a brewer. You know that you're going to be washing out tanks, cleaning lines, canning, everything else, and it just seems like a industry that really wants to help and give back. And if you go out the Brewers Association website, you see that there's all kinds of people trying to help, and that's what made me know I was on the right track. Once I started meeting these people, and they were all open to that, I go, wow, this is a perfect fit for what we're trying to do.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique community. Courtney and I actually just did a blog post where we asked some of the brands that we work with what some of their favorite brands were, and we loved reading through all the responses that like nobody held back, and everybody had such good things to say about essentially some of their competitors, but they don't see it like that. I think they're very inspired by the people that they work with, and you're so right, it is a very unique part of this community.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was. You mentioned that, and I'm very inspired by one product here in California, and I want to blow them out. Don't get me wrong, but I have ultimate respect for them, what they've done, even their beginnings in that they're kind of a cool beer out here now. It's a Firestone Walker beer called 805, and
Mm-hmm.
okay, they're now the biggest craft beer seller in California. They passed Stone, and but their beginnings, it was two trust fund babies. Firestone is Firestone Tires. He's one of the heirs, and they started a winery years ago up in Paso Robles. Well, then they started a craft beer business. They just say, hey, let's start doing this beer thing, and they got in early. And now 805 is kind of they'll have surfing pictures. They make it seem like they're really cool and hip, but their stories, to me, I think we have a better story. And I modeled when I was formulating this beer, it was formulated after their beer, actually.
Interesting.
Wow. Yeah, that's
We're going to
cool.
talk about Shanked in a second. But you mentioned, it's been a 6-year journey, right? So is there anything you can sort of share about that journey? Any, as this has all come together, any, I don't know, specific challenges or milestones in the process?
Oh my God. If I would have known this was going to be this hard, I don't even know if I would have done it. It's, it has, I mean, I still drive a truck. I work 70 hours a week. I help Teslas and Hyundais up and down the coast. And my partner's the only one that's doing this full time. It's been a nightmare. I've had problems because of my record getting my license, my ABC license. Everything took longer. I was on federal and state probation for some marijuana. I was on a probation for a marijuana case from 1996 in Rhode Island, and it's made it everything where I can't travel for a long time for the first few years. It's been so difficult. Sometimes I would just sit there and almost break down and go, man, I don't know if I can do this. I've got a good spiritual base though, and that kind of saw me through this. I started doing following some of that in prison, and the milestone, if you had to say it, the milestones was getting the license, and then we were having problems. I have an agreement to get a distributor around here, but he has no warehouse space for me. They're building a warehouse, and the ABC here is giving them grief. So taproom saying, yeah, we'll take you. That that was a big milestone. We were very happy that day when you guys said, yeah, we'll take you on. Me and my two partners, we were all like, wow. They go, we always knew we had a really good thing, but we hadn't gotten the chance to prove it yet. And it was just that was a big day in our thing, knowing that we were going to be able to sell our beer.
That's such a testament to like all of your hard work and like really grinding out there. So congratulations. That's
Thank
amazing.
you.
Yeah.
So yeah, getting onto the Shanked Blonde Ale. So that's your debut, right? That's Prison Break's sort
Yeah.
of entry into the world. So you're saying it was kind of inspired by 805. Do you want to tell us a little bit what you love about a blonde ale and sort of how Shanked really, embodies everything that you do love about that style, what the taste and aroma and everything
Yeah,
that is?
yeah, I do. A blonde ale we needed a main. This is our first beer. We don't have a tap room to support us. So our first brand, we have to make money off it. We have to be so we can get a tap room and start doing specialty beers and stuff. We have to make this work. So I needed a mainstream beer, and a blonde ale. You can make them pretty mainstream. You're not going to go with an IPA. You drink a couple or three IPAs, and you're either full or you're getting a buzz. Uh, you know, the blonde ale. You can pound these. They're good outdoors. They're good indoors, and this 805 I like, but it had a little more aftertaste than I like. And a lot of women, like you guys are real beer drinkers, so you don't mind the hoppy taste and stuff. But for mainstream, if you're trying to grab some people that might drink a Miller, you know, besides the craft beer people, and if you're trying to appeal to a lot of people, we tried to keep the hoppy back, aftertaste down. And so when I went to a place called Bev Stores, and they do everything, but they have a lab and they formulate. So I started talking to the guy, and I said, "All right, we're going to hire you, and I'll work with you of what I want." And when I told him it's kind of based on 805, he started laughing. He goes, "Well," "I was one of the main brewers on that project." He goes, I
Oh,
worked with
wow.
Firestone Walker. This guy's like a known. This guy Matt Hall, he's a real known brewer. He had a lot of respect. We had heard about him from other people, so we sought him out. And And he goes, because he had told me, he goes, if you send me a beer that you kind of like, and then we can have a starting off point. And when I told him 805 in that, and I said, but of course I want it better, and I want this, and this. And when I got the first samples, God, that was 4 years ago. This is how long it's taken us to bring this to market.
Yeah.
We were just like, we had our socks knocked off. We were so happy that it worked out, and it has. We've gotten a lot of positive reviews, and it's easy to sell. But that's kind of how it came about. And he gave us our first formula, and we went back and forth a few times, and he hit it on the first one. And so, anyways, that's about how that story came about.
No,
Yeah, makes sense.
You started touching on this a little bit, and so this is a question we always ask brands in these interviews, and it's hard because I think the initial answer is to say, well, everything, every time, but specific times maybe that the shanked blonde ale is just extra enjoyable. I'd love to hear from your personal experience drinking it. Have you tried it with any particular foods that it just works with? Is it like just extra amazing, outside, with friends? Like, what is it absolutely perfect for?
What that's what I love about it. I like it with everything. I drink it at night when I don't have it. Like, I don't have it in my refrigerator right now because I don't have any. I'm out. When I don't have any, I don't drink as much. When I have it, I drink more. Because I really do enjoy it. I can't say it's just an outdoor beer because it's a good winter beer too, not just an outdoor sun. It's not that light. It's still a 4.9 ale. It's not like that. In fact, from the first batch that you guys had, I came down a tenth on the batch that we're selling now in kegs. I came down on the carbonation because the one that we had made out here didn't taste exactly like the one that our original formula. Different brewer, different. I'm sure maybe his stuff is calibrated a little different, but it was a little, to me, there was a little bit too much carbonation, and it was disguising some of the flavor. So we cut back a tenth, which is hardly anything, and I feel more of the flavor comes out because we use the yeast we use almost gives it a slight fruit aftertaste, and that was kind of getting covered up by the carbonation. So we're still dialing in, and we're going to see. I want to see how this is going, and it's just an overall. I mean, I'm not kidding. I've had probably at least 20 people tell me, "Oh, it's the best beer I've ever drank." How do I get it? I mean, to hear this is the best beer I've ever drank is, that's a compliment. But now they don't have your palate for beer, so but then again, you're a small percent of the market with advanced palates like that. And although more people are getting them, they're getting out. But now we've been to tap like where we had it brewed the first time. I mean, we got real positive reviews, and people would buy it right there. We couldn't sell it except there because it was made there, and so people's palates are evolving on the beer. But it was still came back to we had to make this a success, so we had to make it drinkable. Drinkable where you could drink a few, which will help our sales and apply and our message is going to appeal to a bigger section of people than just craft beer people. We've always planned on that,
right?
And so to make it just a craft beer would have been myopic. It wouldn't. It too short sighted for us. So like I said, it might not be some of the distributor I have out here in Riverside. He's got a lot of beers, and he goes, it's really good. He goes, it's not quite enough for me. He's probably more like you. I drink a little heavier beer, hoppier beer, whatever. And so it's not for everyone. But it's more geared to the middle of the road. It might be someone who drinks a couple IPAs, but knows about us and goes, man, I don't want another IPA, but I want another beer. let me get something lighter. I do that sometimes. I'll start off with a heavier beer, then I'll go, wow, I'm gonna have to lighten this up here. I don't know how you guys.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's really smart to have a low barrier to entry, into your brand and to, introduce them to something that's still really good. I think you actually have two great factors because sometimes you have a new brand that focuses more on the brand versus the product, and then they'll come in with a light beer that maybe tastes like every other light beer. But I think if you have a great first taste, and you have the great backstory and brand, that's really going to stick with people, and I think more likely for them to grab your beer versus something else that's similar but not as noteworthy.
Or socially engaged, and that's
Yes.
a big thing nowadays. But to your point, my number one always priority was, look, our story's going to sell us X amount of beer no matter what. People will do it. But that's it. If the beer's not good, we're not going to get loyal. We're not going to get loyal drinkers. People, and that was always our number one priority. And it's the beer's got to be good, and we have to get the beer right. If the beer's not right, the store we'll be successful. But I want people to say they make good beer. We have some other recipes and stuff that when we're ready to bring them out. Our next one is another mainstream beer. Unfortunately, it's not as crafty, but it's a big market. It's a Mexican lager.
There's nothing wrong with mainstream. We love everything crushable here, so
Yeah.
you know
And it's good because you're getting the mainstream drinkers, but I will in the craft community too. There's a big swing back to these kinds of styles because people do want that balance. After you can't keep crushing those huge IPAs.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
a Mexican style lager is, I see it, having as big of a moment among craft drinkers too, because we want those light, crisp, crushable flavors and mouthfeel.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I,
Is
I,
there
I
anything?
think it might be kind of the next because we're seeing California now. We're starting to see more craft breweries that are making a Mexican lager. Um, we have a big Hispanic community, and that's why California. I thought we were starting here first. It just didn't work out. The Hispanic community, I mean, they watch the narco novellas and everything. Our brand was Shanked, and our Mexican lager is Scapa, and it's got like a little dude, crawling through a tunnel, getting ready. Bars are cut, and he's getting out, and they'll think of a Chapo Guzman story. But anyways, it's we kind of thought we were starting in California, and so our brands are like Escapa and that they're kind of set for that. But New York has just been like, hey, this is great. We love it. I love walking around Brooklyn and selling beer. I mean, I've been out twice and I thoroughly enjoy it. It's I have a good time. I like talking about beer, and every time I go into a new place, I always ask them. I say, I'll order a beer, and if I want an IPA, I always ask them what they recommend and stuff. And so I've been trying a ton of beers while I've been walking around Brooklyn and Manhattan, and I've been having fun doing that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. You actually brought up a point there that was going to be my next question. So that's perfect, which is branding. So Shanked, Escapa, the artwork, everything that goes into, we're talking about what's in the can, but now everything that's outside of the can. What was the decision like there to sort of, embody the prison break, personality, and how is that all sort of contributing to what the brand is doing?
Yeah, it's a well, I've got 22 years in. I'm not, I'm not just. I just didn't take a little stop in prison and go, hey, let's capitalize on this. It started in there. The names came to me in there. I don't know if you saw our other one, Shot Collar Stout. That's our stout, and we've got a formula for that stout ale. It's got a big guy all inked up, looking mean at the camera, and he's a shot collar, like a prison shot collar. And then another one we have Lock and a Sock Lager, and that's got like a shaggy character getting hit in the head with a lock and a sock. It's comedic though, and we put on our website, look, we're not trying to glorify the most negative aspects of prison, and them are negative aspects of prison. Let me tell you, But that being said, we're trying to use them images and turn them into a positive force in the community by helping. And and like I said, we're in, if we ever have profits, 5% of them will go to victims of crime. Mostly a lot of it for women. There's a lot of alcohol fueled assaults, domestic, children, everything, and so I think if I'm going to sell beer, if I'm going to sell alcohol, I want you to drink it responsibly, of course, but saying drink responsibly really isn't enough. We want to get out front that, hey, there is problems with alcohol, and a lot of times it's women and children suffering. And so when we have the microphone, and we're going to get the microphone, that's going to be one of the things I espouse. I grew up with two sisters, so kind of I got the feminist traits about stuff, and I'm glad. But I think to me, I think the alcohol business needs to be, recognized that there are problems caused by our product, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's it's irresponsible. A car can kill somebody if you have an irresponsible driver. But that being said, we're going to try to address it in the future. I don't know if that makes any sense to you.
It
Yeah,
definitely
no,
does. That's great.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, that is really great. I do like that point that you made too about using your experience as a positive force. We've seen that in a couple of brands. I'm thinking about Japa specifically, which is a Japanese Brazilian brand, and their name of their brand is actually a slur in Brazil, and they decided to take that slur and use it as their brand name to really empower them and change the connotation. And I think about that with you too, kind of changing the connotation and using your experience, which typically gives you a lot of setbacks with trying to move forward, and using it as an empowerment tool for your brand. So I think that's amazing.
Yeah, great. What was the name of that again?
Japas.
And that's like the poor people, the favela people, or I mean, is it a derogatory cast?
It's so they are Japanese Brazilian, like, or Japanese immigrants in Brazil, and so that is what Brazilians have historically called immigrants that come in from
Oh,
Brazil
okay.
or from Japan to Brazil.
Hey, that's great, and
Yeah,
they're using it, and that's great. Turning it into a good thing. I
yeah,
like that. Yeah,
absolutely.
good.
Yeah. So beyond that too, I'm gonna pull it back and look at the big picture. What what would you tell people who are just finding out about Prison Break right now? What is the overall mission? What do you want people taking away from this brand and this experience?
Um, it's not, we know it's not for everyone, but we want them. We want people that care about like issues such as not just prison reform, but although prison reform is good, but there's a lot of hopelessness for a lot of people coming out of prison. Like when I came out of prison, I went to the federal halfway house. I was all the way broke. I was riding a bus. I got a job at a what do you call it, like a fulfillment warehouse, schlepping boxes on pallets for minimum wage for $10 an hour in California. That's the type of jobs in the halfway house you got to work. It was a federal halfway house, and that's the kind of jobs that they present you with. And until I got my CDL and started driving, that would have been it would have been hard. I was 58 when I got out, and basically most of my life in prison, ninth grade education. Even though I'm fairly well read and halfway clever, that doesn't mean I have experience that somebody's going to give me a good job, something that's that would make me feel like I have some hope. And so this craft beer thing is, to me, when they see what we're trying to do in this apprenticeship program. We only had one. We thought we were started, and we had this girl go through. And as soon as she got her Cicerone, you know what Cicerone training is from
Mhm.
San Diego State, she got certified, and she got a job for a distributor right away. They hired her, but it was a wine and spirits, but it crosses over. She wasn't she was a Asian girl, kind of slight, so she wasn't the type that was going to be schlepping around, canning cans and stuff like that. She was going to go into the business aspects of it. But as soon as she was done with that program, she had a job waiting for her, and and so that them are like careers, and to be able to maybe help some people get a career in an industry that's there's nothing wrong with doing pallets. I drive a truck or driving a truck in that, but this might be something that gives somebody that if they went to the warehouse, they might be back in prison in a year. Whereas this, well, I'm moving my way up. I'm learning stuff. Man, I'm going to be a brewer in 2 or 3 years, or I'm going to, or if they have the right, personality in that, we want to train them to be a rep, to go out and rep our product. So, or if they want to learn the book, bring them in the office and teach them how to just work in an office, even. If somebody's interested in that, it all transfers over. And it's just, I know how many people, how many times I've gotten out of prison a few times, and I would start working, and I would just go, well, God, I can go get a few 100 pounds of pot, take it back east, and I'm doing way better. And so I would quit, and every time you quit, and you fall further behind in life. So we want people to know that we're just trying to make a small dent in a large problem. And, it's like I've never been married, don't have kids. When I'm gone, I'm going to leave all my shares to the foundation. That's just so, I've already planned on that. And so for us, I know personally how hard it is, and we're trying to make a small dent. And we're going to have a platform to speak. We have a lot of stuff going on. We'll hire a publicist, and my story, and it's more compelling than I let on, and so is my partners. We're going to get interviewed. You're the first one for me, but we plan on getting television down the road, big, huge blogs and stuff. That's always been our business model, was free advertising, because of what we are and what we're trying to do. And like I said, we had a couple albums. Our music thing now is on hold. We put our last resources now into the beer, and we've misallocated our funds every time. We made every mistake. You have no idea how many mistakes we make. Well, I still make them on a daily business, but I'm learning. So we just want to get that message out, and use this business as a microphone to just bring attention, to some problems.
That's amazing. I can't wait to hear more about the story.
Specifically, part of that, just looking at the Prison Break website, can you talk a little bit about Out of Bounds Nation and that partnership?
Yeah, that's Out of Bounds is our holding company, and it owns half of Prison Break Brewery, half of Prison Break Records, half of Unit 2 Creations. That's our publishing, and we've been trying to pitch two TV shows for a while, but that's very time consuming. And anyways, it's a business incubator. And in other words, we're the first companies that Out of Bounds ostensibly is helping to set up their businesses, even though we are Out of Bounds. But we are also we're gonna, after we get up and running, we're gonna start reaching out through, we have prison groups, through ministry groups and that, reaching out to prisoners and saying, look, if you think you have a good business idea, if you need advice, if you need financing, we can show you how to do it. If we think your idea is really good, we'd like to help with you. We want to tell them the mistakes to avoid, because we've made them all. Well, not all of them yet. We have a lot more to make, but anyways, that's what Out of Bounds Nation is. We're figuring it out now, and then we're going to share it. And if people come to us and we're going to say, no, that won't work, or yeah, that's how you go about this, with helping. So we knew nothing about social media. I'm 64. I'm a dinosaur. I don't know anything about social media, but we're learning. And so we want to help people do that are coming out of prison. Help them. Prison Break Records, after it's up and going, will be taking song submissions from people that were in prison or out of prison now, or somehow their family was affected. Their father was in, and we want to take song submissions and help some of them, and tell them how to go about it. If we say, well, we can't do anything with it, but this is what you need to do. And then write books, the same thing. How to, what pitfalls to avoid in the self-publishing, because we made all them also. So we want, because there's a lot of in prison. There's a lot of guys that, like, in fact, in life, there's a lot of people that were like, they played in a band in high school, or they wrote in their journals, oh, I'm going to be a writer, and then life got a hold of them. They got married, they had kids, they whatever, and that all went away, and it was all right. Well, I got to get a job now, pay my bills. Well, some of them come to prison, and they have all this time, and so like there's band rooms and there's like writing classes, and people start discovering some of the talents they had when they had their dreams in high school and such. And then in prison you have all this time. Like there's some hip hop guys, they're laying down some good rhymes, and I know they're good. I listen to a lot of hip hop, and I'm going, man, I heard good stuff in prison. um, so there's a lot of people, that talented people in there, but now they have the time to explore that, and we want to help them bring that to market. And that's part of it. Man, we thought we'd have this up and running. It was just like we thought we'd be doing everything I'm telling you right now, and it's so difficult. So, anyways, that's what Out of Bounds is about. It's a business incubator. Correct. It's the OBM Second Guest Initiative. Well, okay, excuse me. I talked over you. What was your question? Right. Like I said, we did one because we thought we were getting off the ground in California, and then COVID hit, and and uh, and that was a hard hit for us. We almost didn't survive. Our timing was horrible, and but for a million other people, it's us. But we did that one we're like, it's licensed with the Department of Labor, like, and with California and San Diego states are for our curriculum. And like I said, it'll be a multiple thing. You want to be a rep, salesperson, you still got to take the training. You got to go through the curriculum, and the San Diego State curriculum. A lot of times it's like a Stone, local distributors, local brewers. They're like ad hoc professors, and so they do one-on-ones when you go through this curriculum. Um, they do one-on-ones with you and teach you every aspect of the business. A brewer will talk to you. A tap room owner that runs the tap room. Um, Distributor. You get to talk to everyone. I'm going to take it. I just don't have the time because I work all the. I have a full-time job, and I do this when I have any free time. And so we want to train them in any aspect. Like I said, everybody doesn't want to be a brewer. But there might be people. Well, this looks cool. I like to work in an office because you're working around cool people in the beer business. They might say, well, God, I can, whatever they want to learn, if we can help them. Like when we open an office, well, we're going to train people in mundane things, but accounting, spreadsheet, everything. And people coming out of prison, a lot of them don't have this experience. I never had it, and it's set up in prison for you to fail. They do not set this up for you to succeed. In fact, they impede your success at every turn. This will come out more, and me and my partners will speak, especially my partner Jack. But you think of such a thing? Well, God, everybody knows Word and Excel. No, they don't.
Hmm.
They had maybe led a life involved with drugs, like myself, and so we don't want to just help them get jobs in the brewery. We want to help them learn to, work in an office. That doesn't mean they have to stay in the beer business, but now they have a skill and they have experience and they have a recommendation from a company. So every aspect of our business, we want to run apprentices through it.
Yeah, definitely. That's so great because even, for like me, for example, who, I went to school to work in a totally different industry and then I ended up in the alcohol industry and that's not even what I went to study for. So I feel like that's just like how life works in general. So I think teaching people these skills that are transferable, I think it really gets their wheels turning instead of, like you said, saying, okay, I have to be stuck in this one job. It really kind of gets them to explore other opportunities too, and then really find what you're passionate about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not rocket science. It's, people just need some experience and something on the
Hmm.
resume. Have you done this before? Well, yes, I have. I did QuickBooks. I did, I did NetSuite, whatever. And, as simple as it sounds, and we just want to do it. Just, I know how tough it is, and we just want to help some people coming out do this stuff. And half of them are going to end up like you. They're going to come in, they're going to learn a skill. They might be in the office, they might be sales. Now they got a year in of selling beer, and then they're looking in Indeed. Oh, experienced salesman, 150 grand a year. Hey, look, I got to go. Hey, good. God bless you. Good for you. Um, I want you to do great, man. Let me know how you're doing. Stuff like that. So it's a small thing, but we'll do as many as we can.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Well, we'll be obviously. I want to build it up big enough to take a partner, a major brewer with a distribution network, global distribution network. This message will play out in other countries, especially south of the border. This is going to be a big thing. We always said it was going to be a big thing. It's going to be a big thing. If we can't, then we can fulfill our promise of our message. If we make it big enough that people have to listen, people will be hearing our message, about how tough it is getting out of prison and stuff. We plan on being a national brand and international brand. Always have. Always have, but I don't want to do it. I'm 64. I've never ran a business. I know nothing. The only business I've ever ran were drug smuggling businesses, but they're businesses nonetheless. But, that's, I don't want to be stuck in, promoting this. I want to get a company to come in and then let me go out and be a spokesman. Let me go around,
Right.
and let somebody else do nuts and bolts. There's lots of ambitious young people, that want to be a CEO. That I'm going to be forced to be the CEO for a while, because I have common sense and I know what I want out of this company. But that being said, it's not my dream. My dream was more to get over onto the nonprofit side and going out and talking about that, because I have a message, and my message, if I can make it coming out of the prison the way I did at my age, starting all the way over, well, then you can make it too, youngster. And don't tell me you can't. Because I know, and not a lot of people can say, well, yeah, I built up $1 billion business, and I started when I was 58, fresh out of prison with no money.
Yeah.
So you can do it. And I want to be able to go kind of preach that message and let somebody else do the nuts and bolts of this, and go explore beers and figure out what kind of beers I want brewed, and and work with our brewer, because it'll be great to get a brewery and get a little 5-barrel tank to do small batch, explore some flavors and stuff, and get some people that train some people that came out of prison. If they mess up a 5-barrel batch, who cares? But we plan on this being a big deal. We plan on selling music, books. We'll probably end up getting a documentary out of this. I actually had an idea for a stupid. I wouldn't do it because I like my privacy, but a reality show called Something's Brewing, and it would be our brewery, and it would be basically I'd be messing with all the people in the brewery, and it'd be a bunch of mostly ex, prisoners and stuff, all working in the brewery, and we could get paid a little money for putting it on TV and get plenty of exposure. Still might do it. I don't know.
I can see it. Yeah, I can definitely see it. Get Netflix on that right away.